Hi, thank you. Thank you for hanging in there. You are almost finished with On-Ramp. You've got this video and one more, as well as then a one-on-one with me at your convenience. But I want to build on a little bit of what Mark shared about SHAPE. We're going to be looking at two parts of that 5-part acronym. First one is personality. Maybe you've taken some personality tests in the past. Maybe you've even taken the DISC assessment. That's the one that I'm going to walk you through right now. But it's going to be necessary that you have your book. And for these two assessments, I like to kind of take the book apart. That's why I didn't have those bound, so that you have the privilege of doing that. And you're going to go to the DISC assessment part. Again, that's going to be back in the No Purpose portion of your book, right after the SHAPE notes. So as we get to that, you're going to find a little information on how to take this. So we give you a kind of a step-by-step on taking that DISC assessment. But this is the sheet that you will be working through. I don't want you to overthink this. This is really just 20 statements, and I want you to give just a gut reaction to each of these statements, and they're going to be responsive from never, rarely, sometimes, often, or always. For example, the very first line says, "I'm assertive, demanding, and decisive." How does that feel for you? Do you say, "Oh yeah, that's totally me," or "Oh, that is so not me," or "Yeah, sometimes that's me." Other situations, not so much. This is a continuum. So again, a gut reaction, circle the one that responds to that statement. Then when you've finished all 20 of those statements, you are going to go through and add up your numbers and put the total for each section in the total line next to that letter. Then I want you to see which letter scored the highest. Put that in the box, followed by a slash, and then your second highest number. From there, you're going to be able to figure out which personality type best describes you. If you scored really, really high in one and then very minimally on all rest of the three, you can just put one up there as well. But you're going to get a better understanding of yourself if you have two. And then you're just going to read the one that best corresponds to your personality. Again, like what Mark said, there's not one right personality and there's no one wrong personality. God is a God of creativity, and He made us each different. So get to know you and how God wired you, how He made you to be who you are. And then after you've finished that assessment, you're going to pull out the one that says Ministry Strength Statements. And these are 72, so not 20, but you're going to have 72 questions or statements to respond to on that. And this is where it's going to be so very helpful if you've got both of these side by side as you're answering them, because it is of utmost importance that question 1's answer goes on line 1. Question 2's answer goes on line 2, so that you can get a better understanding of the spiritual gifts that God has already given you or is developing into you. So for a quick example, number 1 says, "I like organizing services and events." I'm giving myself a 3 on that. That is something I very much enjoy and I never tire of. And so I would give myself a 3. You're going to go through, answer each of those. And here's something I want to warn you against. Don't answer them according to the person you want to be. Answer them according to the person you know that you are. You're the only one that's seeing the results of these. And so answer them honestly, because that's going to give you the best indication of how God has wired you, as well as the giftings that He has given you. So then after you're finished with all 72 of those, you're going to go through and add up each line. Each line can have a score of anywhere from 3 to 9, no less and no more. So you would Again, score across each of those lines and then find out which one has the highest score or scores for you. There's not just one high score, that you may have 4 or 5 that end up ranking a 9. Hopefully you're not getting 9s on all of them or 3s on all of them, but there's going to be a few that rise to the top as being your higher scores. For example, I know that line 3, which corresponds to a C, is craftsmanship, and I rank really high on this one. That is just something that God has given me giftings to do. It's not an area that we puff ourselves up and make ourselves proud about, because it all comes from God. It's just recognizing this is how He has crafted me. So then I would go through and I would read that, and we've also given some scriptural references where God uses those strengths in the Bible, and maybe you can learn even more about yourself. Again, you may have 1, 2, 3, maybe even as many as 4. If you've got more than 4, maybe you've answered a few of them a little too generously, but that's all right. Go ahead and read through the descriptions of the ones that match you best. And then when we have our one-on-one, I want to hear, what is your disc? What's your personality type? And what are your spiritual giftings? Because that's going to tell me a lot of what God is wanting to do in you, through you, and how you can further His kingdom best. Thank you for taking the on-ramp from anonymity to known, and I look forward to our last session together.